Hey everybody, it's 9, I think. Yep, 9 o'clock. I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna give people just one more second to hop on. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I hope you all are having a great night. It's been kind of cooler here, so the weather outside is pretty decent. And it's August, it's not July anymore, which is kind of a good thing in my opinion. It's nice to get a break from the things that you don't necessarily love, and not just because it wasn't a great month business-wise for me personally, but and I say that even though it's not really true. We made a lot of progress and set some things up that are kind of already coming to fruition. So I hope you guys are seeing the same things, but it is kind of refreshing to start a new month and be able to start back with a revved sort of outlook and excitement with a new special and all that stuff. It's kind of fun to start again every month. I'm going to tell you some of the rank advancements we had last month. It wasn't a huge month, but I'm so impressed with people who can do this in July and move forward in such a way. And, you know, if you saw volume increase, if you saw volume even stay the same, I think that's huge because it's just a slow month. It's kind of like retail. It's just, you know, you kind of have ebb and flow. So that's okay because we need that personally. To have some rest time, and it's natural part of the life cycle too. So, okay, starting with a few of our people who promoted to manager, and we had quite a few of them, so that's pretty exciting because, like I said, it was a pretty rough month for most people in terms of growth. But we've got Fred White, advanced from consultant to manager. Jean Gaudet, Norma Jean, sorry, my vision is getting worse and worse. Norma Jean Gaudet, very good, got to manager from consultant. Debbie De La Cruz, excellent work. Kathy Bentley, awesome to manager. Hazel Surratt, manager. Amy Grimsley, manager. Julia Bear, great work. Dawn Cheek, awesome job. Deborah Wesson, keep it up. Beth Bolden, very nice. Sharon Stratton got up to manager, excellent. Karen Schutt, Emily Mead, Jennifer Navratel, who's actually Jennifer Schultz. So, hey Jen, good job with that. Christina Palumbo, excellent. Hannah France, actually Hannah France made it to director. Nicole Surratt also to director. Carrie Peterson to director, great work. And then we have 2 elites, which is fantastic, Tracy Roten and Donna Boone. So excellent work, people. You guys did amazing things, and I can't wait to see where that leads you into the fall. And then our enrollments last month were fantastic. You know, some of you blew that out of the water. We have a few people on our team who have earned the trip to Cancun, have ranked in the top 5. I think Sue Blaylock, I know I'm going to forget somebody. Sue Blaylock and Stephanie Katera. I think you guys both placed in the top 5, right? And I should know the number exactly, but I saw it just today in passing and was so excited. And then enrollments, I mean, like I said, some of you did not let July slow you down, and I love it. You know, 11 and 12 with Sue, 11, Stephanie Katera, they were serious about that Cancun trip. I'm serious too. I really want to go, and you don't have to have earned it for free to be able to go. So you should start thinking about that now. Who doesn't want to go on an all expenses paid trip? But also you'll get to be there with a lot of the higher ups in doTERRA and get a lot of training and one-on-one time with those people. It can be really amazing. Shelly Halpern had 7 enrollments. Amy Mead, Cheryl Rodriguez, Kim Petrides, Nicole Surratt, Laura Easter, all got 4 enrollments. And then Jen Schultz got 3. Betsy Throckmorton, 3. Leanne, 3. Good job, Leanne. Jennifer Lewis, 3. Terry Lambert, 3. Jenny Starnes, 3. Kennette Yates, 3. So, I mean, you guys are just doing amazing things. And you know, it can feel like the further down you get with having reached out, sometimes I'm surprised that even Drew and I can get more enrollments, but we did. And we haven't slowed down. We get about 3 or 4. We've had about 3 or 4 every month for the past couple of months. And it's very exciting for me because I remember in the beginning, I thought eventually I'd have to start basically just buying enrollments for people because I just run out of people. But it turns out everyone needs the oil. So if we're willing to put ourselves out there and talk with even perfect strangers, we can meet people who need them. I really like quotes, and I wanted to share one with you. There's been a lot that are kind of floating around my brain recently, but one is Helen Keller. Really, if you look at any of her quotes, they kind of hit on the same subject that I've kind of needed to hear about recently, which is that life is hard and harder for some people, obviously, than for others. But the harder that we push and the more that we look to find joy and overcome our hardships, the farther we'll get and the more influence we'll have and the better off we'll be. And so this was just, we would never learn to be brave and patient if there were only joy in the world. And I think that, you have to kind of sit down and think about that for a minute because, we want to feel joy all the time and be grateful all the time. And you should be, but you also should be grateful for the things that challenge you because they're going to shape you into something new and different and better. So that change can be hard, but I just really loved her outlook on that. And I'm always inspired by what she says. Okay, so just now on to thinking about August, what we're doing with August. We're thinking about back to school, that time of focusing on what's coming up this year. It's sort of like a new year in a way. And especially for anybody in this industry, the fourth quarter of the year is going to be gangbusters for people who have used these last few months to really build it up. And August is one of those months. If you haven't already done with June and July, start laying the groundwork for an amazing fall. It's just the time to do that. And if you have done that, you're going to start to see the fruits of that labor. I'll tell you, I'm already starting to get more texts and emails and stuff from people who are asking about the oils, and they're saying, hey, I've been meaning to ask you. It's just kind of starting to come to the forefront of their minds again. So be prepared for that and use August to kind of reach into the fall and lay that. I wanted to encourage you to read through some of the testimonials that were posted in that thread in our group. Just people sharing kind of without the filter of wording carefully for compliant reasons or FDA reasons. Just kind of read through those and be reminded of what the powerful tools are that we have and the stories that we have all been a part of sharing and helping people with. These things are, we have to remember that's why we're here and that's what we're doing. And we should feel obligated to share that, whether we're getting paid as much as we feel like we deserve or not. These things change lives. And so if we can kind of keep that at the forefront of why we're doing it, who can we serve with these oils? Who is walking around lost and searching for something that can have this kind of impact on their health and life? So please just keep that in the forefront of your mind. I think reading those testimonials can really help kind of regain focus that can be easy to lose. Okay. Also add your own if you haven't already. I would love to hear what your story is. And also when you're in a private situation or at a class and the question comes up, what's your story? What's your personal testimony? If you don't have one, that's fine. Share one of these stories. But remember too that you don't need to worry about being so stifled by compliance in a real life situation. So of course on your Facebook page is not the place to put every last detail of how, I'm trying to think of Deep Blue cured all your aches and pains. Of course, don't say that. But in real life, you can be a little bit more obvious about how frankincense really, did whatever. It cured you, or not even that it did, but it supported you in the way that cured you. It offered you the relief that you needed. And just be more candid in real life with people so that they don't have to read between the lines all the time. And I think that'll help too, with you being able to connect with people in a real way. Sometimes I think that FDA compliant language, not that it's not a good thing, and we should all understand what it means and when it's appropriate and when we must use it. However, on a personal level, we have to build this business on connection and personal experience. And if we're always kind of feeling hindered by that, then it's gonna be frustrating for us and for the people we're sharing with. So, okay, and then now we just want to talk about some upcoming stuff that I want to make sure you know about. First of all, our weekly classes. If you don't know already, we've got them Wednesday morning and then Thursday evening. We started again this week with the intro class. So it was an intro this morning. It'll be intro tomorrow night at 7. So these are a great place to send your personal enrollments. Print up the card that they need to get signed every week, and they will want to do it. Like I said, we had our first graduates. I gave out the first keychain and lip balm to the first person to have completed all of the series. She was a new enrollment of mine, and she is well equipped with knowledge on the products that we have now, and she's using them. Her orders are constantly over 150 PV, if not more, and I wholeheartedly know it's because we have piqued her interest on these products and it empowered her to understand how to use them in the most effective way for her personal use. So take advantage of this class system. And then Wednesdays at 10:30 and Thursdays at 7, we're doing yoga. So don't forget that. That's an amazing resource too. Sending people to that, it is a powerful experience. If you have yoga instructors that are interested, it's a great way for them to see the full potential of using oils in that setting. Of course, reaching new clients that way, building residual income alongside of building their yoga following. Also, something just for fun. On Sunday, we're having our pool party. So if you aren't already planning to come, please come. It'll be fun. It's at Higginstone Park. And I'm sorry if you're far away and you can't join us. But it is just going to be a fun night, and you all are welcome to come and join us there. Convention. There is still time to plan for this. And if you haven't planned for it, you should plan for it. And I know that it's a huge commitment. It's such a huge commitment, but you will reap huge rewards from that commitment and from going and just seeing firsthand and connecting with this business firsthand, and with the people who started doTERRA and the people who are working doTERRA now. We'll hear tons of research and science, and there's going to be a doctor's panel and tons of inspiration. So of course, new products, it's worth going just for those, but all that other stuff is just amazing. Also, we have upcoming event on Saturday this evening, or Saturday in the evening, the first responder class at HQ, and love for you to be there. It is also a Diamond Club event. So if you want to come and bring a potential newbie, do it. There's lots of great bonuses for people who come to a Diamond Club event, and they get added bonuses with their enrollment. Oil Education Day is August 13th. If you have not registered, register. There's a great lineup of classes for that. So make sure that you're planning to attend and to bring people. It's great for customers alike. It's not business training. It's oil education. So anyone who loves the oil should go. It might not be somebody who is a builder or sharer, but those people would benefit definitely. But the customers too, get them to that. Convention recap. Go ahead and put this on your schedules. We're going to have a whole day, Sunday, September 25th from 1 to 5 p.m. at HQ. We're going to go doing a great training on basically covering most of the topics, or probably not most of, very briefly, obviously, try to touch on most of the topics that we talk about at convention. We had a great one last year and the year before, actually. So I hope that you do plan to come. Of course, we'll have the new products there so that you can see and feel them in real life. And then the following Tuesday, we're going to do a product showcase with just the products, not all the other stuff, Tuesday night at 7:15, September 27th. And that would be something more where you really want to get your customers to come to and kind of meet the new products. And then, of course, builders and sharers, come on that Sunday, and you will not regret getting caught up on everything that's going on there. So, all right. So I'm going to turn the phone over to Chasey in just a minute. I'm going to introduce her first. Chasey is one of our gold leaders. she is has a really amazing story with doTERRA. She just keeps growing it, and she's a great leader. She's good at what she does, and she loves the oils, and has had lots of amazing experiences with them. And she's a great teacher, and she's been doing a lot of training and learning from some pretty knowledgeable folks on how to build a successful business, not just doTERRA, but through business coaches that are good for, whatever. I mean, all business building takes a lot of the same skill sets. And so having a business coach is something that most people who are very, very successful do. So she is smart. But one thing I wanted to mention before she gets started, and she'll probably talk about it too a little bit, is that there is a free opportunity to get some really great training from Tiffany Peterson, who is an amazing sales coach, and it's called the Sales Summit, and it's still open and available for you to jump in on. The first call was yesterday. It's a 4-week, so it's every Tuesday there's a new recording or a call, and you listen and get lots of amazing tidbits and tips and fuel for moving you forward in this journey. And one of my favorite things that she said in the beginning was, very rarely do people, when they're 7 years old, think to themselves, I can't wait to grow up and be a salesperson. And I just thought that really put into perspective, everything about this business that I think a lot of times when people get started, they're like, well, I'm not a salesperson. Everybody hands down, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not good at sales. There's a few outliers, but for the most part, that's people's hang up. I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell. And in the Go Giver, I felt like I put a lot of that to rest, because when I read that book, I was like, what? I'm not, what is the shame in sales? But anyway, I just love that she said that, because that's not been her life's goal either. But the sale profession is a profession of serving people. And so just keep that in your mind, because we sometimes are ashamed to have to take money as compensation for what we do for people, but there's no shame in that. Everyone does that. So anyway, the best salesmen are just the best people, the best listeners, the best service people. So excuse me, without further ado, Chasey, please share with us some of your wisdoms.
Well, I don't know how much wisdom it will be, but
lots.
So you guys, I would highly encourage you, if you have not signed up for the Sales Summit, like Lacey suggested, to take advantage of it. The program is about $400 to go through. If you were to do it outside of this program, she does this once a quarter. She'll offer a program. And if you don't know who Tiffany Peterson is, she worked with the Franklin Covey brand. She worked with the Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Poor Dad brand. Jack Canfield, who is the chicken noodle soup guy, chicken noodle soup for the soul. Is that how you say it? And so she's got some pretty serious credentials there. And so I can tell you that the training that I embarked on this summer with her had a few more zeros on the end of free. So if you don't take advantage of this, you are a fool. And I'm just going to tell you that. So take advantage of it. It's an hour, basically about an hour commitment a week. Where you're going to listen to the thing. She's going to give you some assignments, and I looked at the assignments today. Some of this is what we went over in our coaching, so that's who I was using, was Tiffany Peterson this summer. We did an 8-week course with her, and it was much more intense, but some of the stuff she's covered is what I, paid a lot of money for. But so take advantage of it. So this summer has been the summer of personal development in my world. How we got to this place of this training and things is, this spring I did Diamond Club, and I came off of Diamond Club frustrated and kind of annoyed with myself. It was the hardest I had ever worked in this business, and yet I was not seeing the success that I wanted to see. In fact, if I really were honest about it, it was going backwards. And so my past before, I owned a hair salon, a pretty successful hair salon. I traveled the country teaching hair cutting and hair color for Paul Mitchell, or John Paul Mitchell Systems. And I saw this trend that I have developed in my life, where I get on the verge of success and I get a little frustrated because I don't quite know how to go. You get to a point where you are doing all you can do personally, and that you have got to grow and change to take it to another level. And so I saw this place where I was kind of running into this wall, and I was frustrated, and I knew that something had to change. And so I decided, I had kind of stumbled upon Tiffany Peterson. If you guys don't know too, another free resource is every Wednesday at, I get a text reminder. I want to say it's 10:30 our time. If you go to Success Coaching Podcast, she does a coaching where you can call in. Anybody on our doTERRA team can call in and ask her questions, and she'll coach you through things. So it's a weekly podcast. So I had kind of stumbled upon her. Oddly enough, early in my doTERRA career, we had been exposed to her, and I thought she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, I could not stand her. But I just wasn't really at a place, I don't think, yet to receive the information that she had. I was pretty successful with doTERRA early on. Things came pretty easy. And then, you know, like everything happens, you hit that roadblock. So I decided, you know, I sat down with my husband and I said, listen, this training is really expensive, but I know that I want to succeed in doTERRA without a shadow of doubt. And I know if something doesn't change, then I know me well enough that I'm just going to get frustrated and say to heck with it and quit. And I just knew there were too many people on my team that depended on me to be a leader, that I couldn't do that. I had already gotten them on board, and so it wouldn't really be fair to do that. So I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I learned through the training, and we're going to talk about another one coming up that I would highly encourage you guys to take a part of. But like Lacey said about sales, we're all in sales. I have always been a referral machine in my life. I'm always a networker. Lacey will tell you, when somebody needs something, I'm like, oh, I know somebody. And that's just how I operate. And so we're all doing that. We're all referring a great restaurant, a great hairdresser, a great babysitter, a great store, a great grocery store. You know, I think about the things that I love in my life, my Vitamix, my Instant Pot, my KitchenAid mixer. Like, I could work for any of those companies, but they don't pay me anything. So I think sometimes we think that sales is, you know, nasty and dirty, and it's just not that. We're really just referring people. We're giving them the information and then letting them make the choices. But the biggest thing that I really want to share with you guys, and I think that's made the biggest difference for me, is routine. And I am not a routine person. I am a willy-nilly, fly by the seat of my pants. It's probably why I'm on Lacey's team. You know, we jump first and then we figure it out on the way down. And so that clearly was not working for me. And so the biggest thing that Tiffany taught us was a morning routine. And I know that some of you guys who are doing the sales summit, she talked about this, but I'm going to expand on that because she gave you a really small version of it. So the morning routine really should become a non-negotiable in your life. I have gotten in the habit now. I used to be the person who would wake up. The first thing I would do is look at my phone, check my text messages, look at Instagram, look at Time Hop, look at Facebook, you know, before I got out of the bed. And so a lot of times that would just set my day into a negative spiral. And so the thing that I would encourage you to do is to develop a morning routine that now when I go to bed at night, I put my phone in airplane mode, for two reasons. I have learned a little bit about the Wi-Fi signal that we're constantly berating our body about. And so I have decided that, you know, we don't want that in our bedroom, so I turn it off. But also is I don't let myself turn my phone back on until I've done what we're going to call the sacred 10, okay? And ideally it would be more than 10 minutes, but if all you have is 10 minutes, I would encourage you to do something that nourishes your body spiritually, whatever that is. For me, I like to get up, read my Bible, a devotion, Jesus Calling. I'm reading one now called another devotion called 31 Prayers for the Dreamer and the Doer. So there's three aspects to your morning routine: physical, spiritual, and mental. So spiritual would nourish your spirit, however you do that. And then mentally stimulate yourself. And so I love that book that I'm reading now, 31 Days of Prayer for the Doer and the Dreamer, because it kind of encompasses my business and spiritual. But it could be a podcast. Let's see, she gave us some ideas. Your spiritual could be, being in the Word or your Bible, a gratitude journal, praying, worship music, whatever it is. Your mental could be reading a book about your business. I'm trying to read a chapter a day of the Success Principles. I've read it through, but I'm going to just keep reading it through. A podcast, whatever it is that you can do to nourish your mental capacity with your business. And then physical, to do some yoga or, walking. You could do it all at one time. You could go on a walk and you could pray for 10 minutes and then listen to a podcast, and you could do it all at one time. But that has really been a huge step. And that was one of the things we focused the most on. Honestly, we were checked with that, with accountability. The whole 8 weeks that we were doing it, were we doing our morning ritual? And we had this printout, and I know you guys can't probably see it, but it was a weekly progress tracker. And so every day we had to be accountable to ourselves and our accountable partner, what we do in our morning routine. And I can tell you the mornings that for whatever reason, like for instance, this morning I got up especially early. I got up around 6 to do some things. And about 6:30, my middle son rolled in and wanted to do his schoolwork at 6:30. I'm not sure why we were doing schoolwork at 6:30, but it kind of threw my whole morning off a little bit. And it just, we have a saying at church, before we start our day, God has something to say. So whatever that looks like for you, you have to nourish yourself, because this business is really draining when you're constantly filling and you're mentoring people and you're pouring in. If you are empty, you cannot have a service heart. You cannot be a servant to other people. So if that means then you have to get in a habit of going to bed a little bit earlier, go to bed a little bit earlier. It's okay. The next component of our daily habits, and so she has a saying that success leaves clues. And so one of our habits, one of our clues is our night ritual, and we call it the mirror exercise. So literally at 9:00 every night, my phone buzzes and it says mirror exercise. And now my kids go, "Oh, are you going to talk to yourself in the mirror?" And it's just kind of a funny joke. And so I have this little stack of cards here that, if you don't know what affirmation statements are, I can explain that in another time, but in detail. Affirmation statements are things that maybe are not true in your life, but you want to step into those being true. So I'm not going to read all of these because some of them are pretty personal. But so for 30 days, we had to commit to looking ourselves in the eye every night in a mirror. And it was really awkward. And now I'm like, hey, what's up? It's not awkward anymore to talk to myself in the mirror. But some of my affirmation statements are, I already have everything I need to succeed. I trust you, as in I trust myself. I allow myself to receive. I am a fun mom. I say yes often. Ooh, I'm still working on that one. I'm saving lots of money and giving lots of money away. I'm a great wife. I don't always feel like these things. I'm consistent in my walk with God. It's safe to be me even when it's different. I'm worthy and deserving. I trust I'll know the next steps to take and when to take them. I can do anything I choose to do. And this is funny. My first one said, I am a diamond, because that is the rank that I, want to hit. And there was something in me that was like, that's not dreaming big enough. And so now it says, I am a blue diamond. I am thriving. My team is full of builders, and I am always attracting new ones. I tell myself that a lot because my team does not feel like it's full of builders. And then there's a few more, but looking yourself in the eye when that doubt starts creeping up, when you feel like a bad mom that day, these things start popping back up in your mind and really help you settle something within your soul, I believe. So that's a huge thing. And then also one of the things on our little weekly progress tracker is at night, we're supposed to look ourselves in the eye and acknowledge what our victories were for the day. And so some days they're like, look, we made it out alive. Everybody was fed, nobody died. We all still have our limbs, but often, there are other things. So I think I'm not a celebrator. And that's something I've learned through this, that I'll hit a rank or a goal and I'm like on to the next. Like I don't celebrate it. So I think stopping and celebrating those small little victories of the day is huge. And you start compounding on them. And then, when the doubt starts to creep up, those victories, remind yourself, write them down. I have a little section in my planner that's a gratitude section. Write your victory down so that when you're having a bad day and you need to flip through, you can flip through. I know Lacey has a little gratitude app that she uses. So also on the weekly progress tracker, it's the morning ritual, the night ritual, and then your joy list. This is another thing that was, as a mom, as a homeschool mom, as somebody that's trying to build a business, things that fill me up personally are often really low on the list. And so this is my vision board. It's behind, I need to hang it up. We knock it over, but it has a little thing that says, what fires me up? What gives me joy? And some of them are things that might cost money, so some of them are not. Let's see, some of them say my team's success, powerful worship, being creative, sewing, empowering women to have choices in their healthcare, thriving families, traveling, being crazy generous. So what are things that bring you joy in your life? And so one of our challenges was to spend an hour every week doing something that brought us joy. And honestly, it didn't have to be an hour in one block. It could be 15-minute increments. And that's something I feel like I noticed, that when I'm doing the things that are filling me up, I am ready to serve. I'm not grouchy. I'm not cranky. And I'm not operating from a place of lack, for a better word. So the joyless thing was really, really good and eye-opening. And just seeing it on this list, like at the end of the week, did I do a joy list activity? And then the next thing is, did I do weekly planning? And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But your joy is a currency in your life. So if you need to use it as a reward to yourself, I am notorious. Like I play little mind games with myself all the time. I'm like, all right, if you vacuum and you get this, and this done, then you can sit down and have a cup of coffee and read, like whatever it is. But I try to have little things. I am a checklist person. I will write something on my checklist that I've already done just so I can check it off. I do it every day. But it's really important. And so the other thing that is really important is to plan. We always hear this, if you plan to fail. If you fail to plan to fail. And so I would go to bed at night like stressing over all that I had to do in the morning. And then I would wake up kind of stressing about what I needed to do. And so one of the things that we got in the habit of doing through Success Academy was making my list of things like a brain dump at night before I go to bed. So all the things that I know I want to do tomorrow, from unloading the dishwasher to, again, it's a silly thing that I just like to check off. I'm going to unload the dishwasher, But then I have a section of things for my business. My yoga class is on here. I need to set up a circle call tomorrow. So all the things that I need to do, I try to put it on my schedule and my to-do list the night before, so that when I wake up tomorrow morning, I don't have distractions before I do my sacred 10, before I sit down and do my stuff. So one of the things that I will say is that this will get a little uncomfortable when it's new. And you'll go through, some of you guys that are on my team, you've seen me post about this, the dip. You're doing good for 3 or 4 days, and then bloop, the dip happens, and you go on vacation and you get derailed, or you decided you were going to work out for 15 minutes and your muscles are sore. When that happens, like, you just have to recognize this is the dip and get back on track, and don't let it derail you. Because the question you need to ask yourself is, am I willing to be uncomfortable to get where I want? And let me tell you, this summer has been a summer of discomfort and personal growth, and just stretching, and, just trying new things, because that was what it was, is that my systems were not really working. So you've got to figure out what's not working. And so are you willing to be uncomfortable in the dip and move on past it? The next thing that, and some of this stuff, you're going to be like, I've already heard it. And guess what? When the first week we did Success Academy, I was like, I paid how much for what? But they're practical things that we've all heard, but are you doing them? Like, are you fleshing it out every day? And honestly, I could say before, no, I wasn't. And sometimes still I'm not, I'm not perfect. I love Tiffany saying, she always says perfection, no, but committed, yes. I'm committed to the process at this point, hell or high water, because, I'm in it. But, the next thing, and you guys are all have talked about this, but this was huge for me, is to have vision in my life, vision for every area of my life. So I'm going to plug a product that has nothing to do with doTERRA, but has been awesome for me. It's called Power Sheets by Laura Casey. And so I have always been a goal setter, but that's as far as it went. It was like, I'd be like, all right, I want to do X, but I did not have the tools to break it into bite-sized pieces. So this is awesome because it gives you, for every month of the year, it gives you and it walks you through so much, like, what's your vision in life? What are your goals? What are your fears? And guess what? Didn't think I had fears, but I got lots of them. But the biggest thing was to break down key areas of my life and make goals around that, like to love my husband well, to hit diamond, and that was before I changed it to blue diamond, to grow in my faith, to give lots of money away, or to save lots of money and give lots of money away. And then it goes on and on. But like, let's say this is hit diamond. Then it breaks it down into things that you can do. So what are things that I can do? What are the positive effects that the action on this goal would lead in my life? It will change my life and it will change others. I will make incredible friends along the way. I will empower women along the way. So what are actions that you could take? Teach lots of classes, sample lots of people, train builders, create systems, build relationships. I think the thing that I've learned is that we try to make this business fancy, but it's really about teaching people and enrolling people. And if you cannot do that, then if you try, I think I got caught up for so long, you get to this point where you do have to be in a leadership position, but I was in this management position and I was not in a personal enrollment position. And so that's been a hard lesson to get out of. So this has been awesome for me because then it gives you every month, you break these steps into what she calls a tending list. So to hit these goals, what do I need to do monthly? I need, and these are all of my goals lumped in one, but my monthly goals would be to have at least one date night with Matt, teach one business training a month, set up a monthly budget, meet with a spiritual mentor, take my leaders to dinner once a month, plan one business mentor outside of my upline, because through some of this training, I have met some awesome people that have different ideas, and that's okay to tap into that. What do my weekly goals need to be? Spend time with the kids unplugged, sample at least 2 people, encourage 2 leaders, teach 1 to 2 classes a week, meet with my small group once a week, make my mentor call, because Lacey and I have a mentor call every week. I need to have my mentor calls with my key leaders. And then it breaks it into daily goals. And so this has been really huge for me. You guys might not enjoy it, but it's brought it into like bite-sized pieces where I feel like I have a plan, because I had a vision, but I didn't have a plan. Like that was the missing link for me was, the plan. So, the other thing that I would encourage you guys to do, and there's some great videos out there, was another thing that's been a game changer. If you make this business look really hard and complicated, you are not going to attract leaders, because they do not want to work their tail off for the rest of their life. And so honestly, this summer I have worked to a place where I'm getting a schedule in my business. And, then we started school this week and it's back up on side its head and we've got to kind of figure out a new one. But Tiffany really encourages time blocking. And so that could look like this, where I have pockets of my day. I refuse to be working on doTERRA 30 hours a day. There's not even 30 hours in a day, but to just block 1 or 2 hours, whatever it is. Maybe it's 1 hour a day. But work at an undistracted place where, if it means that we get school done and my kids get to play on their iPad for an hour and I can come in the office and like bang a bunch of stuff out, versus being distracted and trying to work all day and really getting nothing done, is just not really working. So getting a weekly schedule, I think, is huge. And that's part of the progress tracker is, did you plan for next week? Like, do you know what's happening next week? I just feel like it's bringing some flow and some order to my business where I am not. And I think that's part of my frustration this spring is I felt like during Diamond Club that I didn't have any systems in place and I was just running ragged and getting no results. So time blocking, I feel like, is huge. You don't have to do this 10 hours a day. It can be done in, 1 or 2 hour blocks here and there. And if you would get in the zone and work and turn your phone off, turn Facebook off, and work, you would get so much more done. And productivity equals paycheck, and we all want a bigger paycheck. So I guess the other thing I'm going to try to wrap it up is, really think about who in your network. And this is something, Lacey and I have kind of been hashing out is, as a seasoned doTERRA person, I'm feeling a little of the pressure of, all my people, I feel like I go to school with we homeschool the same people. I go to church with the same people. I literally look through my Facebook list and I'm like, dang, did I have any friends before doTERRA? Because it seems like everybody I know through doTERRA. But one of the things Tiffany encourages is to really nourish your network. And that's one of the power sheet things that can really help you be very intentional about nourishing relationships in your life. Like tomorrow, I'm intentionally going to yoga. I could work out at home, but I need to get out of the house and meet some new people. So I'm going to go to yoga. I'm going to meet some new people. I might not talk about doTERRA tomorrow, but I am nourishing that network of people. So just think about ways you can nourish your network. It doesn't always, people buy from those they know, like, and trust. And so she has drilled that in our brain, so I want to be the person that people know and they like and they trust. And honestly, that's why I was, and not to like toot my horn, but that's why I was successful in the beginning, because people knew I had researched essential oils to death. They knew I was the oil girl in my circle of friends. And so they came to me because they trusted me. So, we just have to get back to that. So, I think that's it. I have a little challenge. I want you guys to just close your eyes for a second and think about, we're in a new month. It's August. We're going to call August the month of the harvest because we have been in July, the scorching July. It almost scorched us to death. But I want you to think about, we're in the month of August. It's the month of harvest. What do you want to feel more of in the month of August? What do you want to create more of in your life? What do you want to feel when August is over? So some words that, that might come to my mind. I want to feel that I'm thriving. I want to feel light and free. I want to feel successful. And so when you think about those words, if they were already true in your life, if you were already experiencing those, what would your life look like? What would it mean in your life? If your words, like for me, if I was thriving in my life, what would that look like in my daily walk? And so if you've chosen those words, whatever it is, what is one step that you can decide tonight that you can take toward that? So if it is, let's say it's success. I want to have success in my business. So what is one step that you could take toward being successful to meet your goal? And then I just would challenge you guys the things, and if you have questions in the Until Diamond group, I'll be glad to answer them. But I would challenge you guys for the next 30 days to really commit to getting up, even if you only have 10 minutes in the morning. And literally my alarm goes off at 6 and it says Sacred 10. I like it to be longer than that. Ideally, I would love to have like an hour and a half, if I'm really honest. I like to get up. I like to leisurely have my coffee, read my Bible. I love to learn. I've discovered that. I really enjoy learning. So it's never an hour and a half. It's rarely 30 minutes. But for 30 days, can you do your morning ritual? Can you do a night ritual of your affirmation statements? and look yourself in the eye and, find one victory for the day. And I'm telling you, it makes a huge, huge difference in where you're going. So that's kind of what I've been doing this summer. Like I said, it has been the summer of, Lacey says you're going to be the most personally developed person I know. But I truly feel like this fall, I just felt like this tug on my heart, like this summer, that's what it was about, was getting ready. I'm sorry. Was getting ready for success, and I was not ready for it. Gosh, this darn new mascara is not waterproof either. Anyway, was getting ready for success. So, anyway, Lord, I didn't see that coming. I've turned into the biggest crier lately. Anyway, Lacey did ask me, get myself back together, to give a plug for the deep dive. That's another training that I was doing over the summer. They're going to start it again, I believe, in September. Yes, September 26th. We'll post some information. Lord, have mercy. I can't talk.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to mute myself, and then I'll tell you the rest in a minute.
Stop. Okay, no, I'm going to look away because otherwise we'll both be blubbering full. Yeah, so I think that's all amazing. And Tiffany said something. She was talking about, we talk about making goals. We talk about thinking bigger and having like greater callings and higher purposes. And I have that. I have vision out the wazoo. I have big ideas. But breaking it down like that and having a goal that's a little bit simpler, a little bit easier to kind of wrap your head around, I think it makes all the difference. And I think that when you don't have that, you just are constantly kind of spinning your wheels trying to get to that big one. And like Chasey said, you don't ever recognize the little steps that it takes. And, I'm the kind of person who I had no idea that there were ranks until I hit Premiere. I mean, I just didn't even know because I didn't care. But if I had that, I would have felt like, hey, I'm getting somewhere, like I'm making progress. And then, when I was hitting Premiere and Silver, I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. Hey, look, they sent me something in the mail. I did something. It's, checking it off my list or whatever. But that's my personality, and I always have to reel myself in and kind of come up with those. And I think that that's one of my biggest weaknesses is being able to kind of break down that bigger goal into smaller steps. And I'm excited to look at those power sheets because I think they'll help me. But another part I'm so glad that Chasey touched on it because the 10-minute power session, I'm like, oh yeah, right. There's no way. It's the only 10 minutes in the morning that I can check the text that came in or whatever. But I'm just going to have to wake up 10 minutes earlier. I'm just going to have to get up earlier and shut the door and keep my kids out or something because I need that. I think we all need that. So that's part of this, I think, is that we have to claim, and doing doTERRA at all as women is, and I know there are men too, and men can struggle with it too, but I find that for Drew, it's easy for him to put something on the schedule, leave us, and go do it. And for me, it's really hard for me to do that because to put something on the schedule means I'm leaving my family, and it means, I'm sacrificing something else. And, but I can't accomplish what I need to get done if I don't do that, if I don't take that time and say, okay, I, have every right to just do this because it's what I do. And anyway, so I just wanted to add to that because it was a really meaningful part for me. But anyway, Chasey, are you composed?
I'm back together. Okay. Wow. Anyway, okay. So the deep dive is put on because I made that very scattered. Brianna Hovey, who is a presidential diamond with doTERRA. And I love her story because she talks about being presidential diamond or blue diamond, making $30,000 a month and still being broke. Okay. And so, and if you hear the whole story, like you're like, how are you still broke? But honestly, like I can see how it happens when you don't learn some of these tools and whatever. So the deep dive is a 4-week program. So Success Academy was all about like business stuff in a lot of ways, like, how to manage your schedule. We got into sales and marketing, and, I have some amazing ideas, but deep dive was about like your thought process and what your limiting beliefs were and what holds you back from success. And it's so funny. My biggest limiting belief, which if you had ever asked me before this, people are like, are you scared of success? I'm like, no, like bring it on. I'm ready. But my biggest limiting belief was that I was going to lose if I was successful, that I would somehow lose my family along the way. And, that's just not true. That's why it's a limiting belief. Like Matt and I are smart enough people that we would not let that happen. But the deep dive is you watch a video module. And then so you get them on Friday, and I don't know if this is how it will be the next session, but you get them on Friday, and then the next Thursday, you have all week to watch it. You have a couple worksheets, and then on Thursday, you go through a coaching lounge, and it is the strangest process. You're online with all these people, kind of like a Zoom, and then all of a sudden, you're partnered up through your phone because you're watching it, listening on your phone, but watching it on your computer. You're partnered up with partners, and you coach your partner, and they coach you through lots of things. The first week, I can't remember what it was, but then the second week goes into a lot of money beliefs. And then the next week goes into disempowering beliefs, like things that we could believe to be true that are not. And then I don't know what we'll do this coming week. It's the last week, but it has just been so eye-opening, not only for me. I mean, it has brought up, I got off my coaching call last night and I told Matt, I said, I feel like I need therapy. Just the stuff that it has kind of brought out. But honestly, it's not about doTERRA. I mean, it is, but it is I feel like it's improved my marriage. I feel like it's improved with my kids, and it's just filtering down to my business at this point. And so it enables you to be able to kind of coach your people through it, because honestly, that's one thing I didn't feel equipped to do. I didn't know how to coach people. And so it gives you some questions and things like that to ask it. Then when you see some blocks coming up for your people, then you can help them kind of work through it. But it's been really, really awesome. And it's so funny because now I'm like anything, when I believe in something, I'm passionate about it. I mean, I'm like, you need to do the deep dive. You should be doing the deep dive. It's so good, the deep dive. I want to say it's about $170. I think that's what we paid. If we can get a group of 20, which I don't think we'll have a problem getting a group of 20 together. But it is just, I mean, it's really, really been good. And it's funny is I see some of the disempowering beliefs that I have, especially in my middle child. I see them with him, and I'm like, all right, now, obviously this doesn't correlate to coaching a 5 or a 6-year-old through, but like, how can we help him now? Like how much further down the road would he be if he did not blame others for things that happen to him all the time, And so, yeah, it's awesome. Again, I think it's going to start September 26th or something. We'll make sure it's heavily advertised so we can get the group rate, but make it a priority, because it will, just like Success Academy, and she told us that from the get-go, it's not just about doTERRA. It's helped so many areas of my life. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's funny because they call doTERRA as, an essential oil company is like the facade, but it's really a personal development company. And if you talk to people that are higher up, you have to go through this process. And so I hope you're all game for changing and being better, because that's a part of it if you really want to get somewhere with it. But oh shoot, I forget. Oh, just to go along with what Chasey was saying, we started listening to the 5 Love Languages on the way home today. And it's a pretty simple book, but I think that I take for granted that I have a fairly decent marriage. My husband and I, if you know Drew, then, we get along pretty well. And I'm sure, there's always room for improvement, but I know so many people struggling in their marriages and, in their relationships. And I think that, sometimes we get hung up in our doTERRA business. It's not going how we want it to go. And if we look at our relationships, a lot of times we can see the evidence there. So, if you feel like, okay, my business is not looking great, it's not going well, take a look at your relationships too. How do they look? Do they feel healthy and good? And are they filling you? And, you'll see the fruits of the labor of that in both, in your business and in your personal life. So we kind of need to overcome and improve those relationships And I'll say, I mean, I've seen improvements in pretty much all of my relationships since I started with doTERRA. And it's not because those people, you know, changed and became what I wanted them to be. It's because, you know, there was a change inside me, a shift in how I view, you know, what I expect from them and all those different things, and what I can offer them and do for them, and how I can serve them and communicate with them the right ways. So anyway, I just wanted to encourage you that what Chasey's saying is totally true. And all of this is not just about doTERRA, because doTERRA is wonderful, but it's a really great opportunity to just improve your overall life. And, you know, most people are, you know, wellness is great, but it's more than just physical. It's spiritual too. So let's take advantage of this journey for both reasons. But anyway, okay. Thank you so much, Chasey. Everybody, thanks for dialing in. The recording will be posted soon. Make sure your teammates listen. I think there's so much to glean from this that everyone should hear. So have a great night. And once again, thanks for joining us. Good night.